I'm sure that you heard about investing and you would like to invest because who doesn't want more money? But you face two big questions which stop you from actually doing it. The first one, which type of investment is the right one for me? And the most important one, how can I actually start doing it? In this episode, I'm going to explain one of the four most important types of investments which can help you achieve your financial goals. And by the end of the video, you will know if it's the right one for you and how to actually start doing it. So let's get straight into the bread. When it comes to investing, the most important factor is you. It all depends on your goals, how fast do you want to achieve them, and the most important, how much are you willing to sacrifice in order to get what you want. Because we are all different, my investment strategy may not suit yours. This is why each and every one of us have to understand the types of investments that we have available at our levels, their advantages and disadvantages, their chances of profit, but also the levels of risk. The first step of investing is to decide what do you want. And at this point is where people do the biggest mistake. They just want a big mountain of cash. And the problem is that no matter how big that mountain is, as humans, we are always going to spend it. A perfect example to demonstrate that are sport players. As you can see, 78% of the NFL members are either bankrupt or under financial stress within 2 years of retirement. So if having a lot of cash is now okay, then what should I be looking for? Well, in my opinion, you should be looking to achieve what's called financial freedom. Think about what would you like to do every single day, even if you wouldn't be paid to do it. Maybe you want to be a teacher, an artist, a photographer, or a singer, but you can't do it because you wouldn't be able to pay your bills. Now, imagine how would it be like if you didn't have to pay your bills. How would it be like if every single month someone else would pay your bills, and you could do what you truly love? That's what financial freedom would offer you if you would have achieved it. Now, you came to the conclusion that having a big mountain of cash is worthless when you compare it to financial freedom. But you have another question, right? How can I achieve financial freedom? Well, financial freedom is usually achieved by investing. And because this episode's topic is the types of investments, let's have a look at which one will offer you the opportunity to do it. As you already know, in this episode we are going to explain one of the four most important types of investments, and those are shares. Imagine that your friend John opened a little stand where he sells fresh homemade food. Because the taste of the food was so good, the customers recommended to their friends to come and buy as well. And as a result, John's little stand could not face the number of the orders anymore. So John started to think about expanding the business. He would like to open a restaurant with waiters and a chef in order to offer a high standard of quality to his customers. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the resources to do it. After doing some research, he found out that only two options were available. Either borrow money from the bank or split his company into shares and sell a portion of them. Because he didn't want to take all of the risk on his shoulders, John decided to split the company into shares and sell 49% of them to the public. In order to find out how much the company is worth, an investment banker will take in consideration the value of the stand together with the available stock, but also the value of the recipe and the business image itself. Let's say that his little business is valued at $50,000 and John decides to split it into 10,000 shares. That means that each share will be worth $5 and whoever buys at least one share becomes one of the company's owners. By being an owner, you are entitled to the profits of the company, which are distributed yearly as dividends. The more shares you buy, the bigger your slice of the company is. By selling 49% of the shares, which represent $24,500, John was able to expand his little business, so he opened a proper restaurant. And because he was passionate about food, he was able to grow his restaurant's value at $100,000 after only 6 months, which means that your shares doubled in price, and if you would have sold them, you would have doubled the money that it was initially invested. Now that you know what shares are and how you can profit from them, let's see how you can actually do it in real life. As I said earlier, investing is all about your goals. If you want to make more money, then you can invest in young companies. An example being Uber, which at the moment of writing sells its shares for $26. On the other hand, if you want to build wealth, then you should be looking for well-established companies that already have a history, and they will usually pay dividends, which you can reinvest in order to accelerate the process of compound interest. An example being Amazon, which sells its shares for $1,754 per piece. So obviously, the potential of making money is much higher investing in Uber compared to Amazon, but it is also riskier because it is still a new company and the chances of failure are also higher. In order to make the right choice when investing in shares is to look at your own situation. For example, if you are a teenager or in your 20s, it probably means that you don't have a lot of money laying around which you can use to invest. But you have something much more valuable, time, which will give you the power of compound interest, or by its second name, a snowball effect. In this case, it may be the best option to invest in young companies like Uber, and 10 years later, a few $1,000s that you invested in your 20s may generate enough passive income for you to be able to retire, or at least it will give you the opportunity to take a few months per year off from your job, so you could spend in doing what you love. On the other hand, if you're already in your 30s, or maybe even in your 40s, then the chances are that you already have a high-paying job, which allows you to save big amounts of money. In this situation, you may want to invest in well-established companies like Apple, Microsoft, BMW, or any banks. Usually, they will pay about 4 to 5% in dividends yearly, and your shares value will go up at an average of 8% per year. Plus, they come with the benefit of a lower risk. Such companies are called blue chips and are a better investment for people that have big amounts of money, and being safe is more important than a higher return. At the beginning, it's normal to be afraid of losing money. Fortunately, that fear can be erased by using what's called diversification. Let me explain this. Imagine that you have $10,000 which you want to invest for a bigger house. After doing some research, you decided to invest in Mercedes because at the moment they offer a high 7% dividend per year, and in the same time they are in business for over 100 years, which will bring you some peace of mind. The biggest mistake that you can do is to invest all of your $10,000 into this company, because no matter how safe Mercedes is as a business, they may be behind with the newest technology offered by their competitors, and it may affect them, making you lose money as well. So the right choice would be to diversify your portfolio. Instead of using the whole available money to buy only shares from Mercedes, you can find another 4 good companies in the same industry and split your resources equally between them. By doing that, your portfolio is more secure, and even if one of the companies goes down, overall you should still be okay. But what if you don't have the knowledge to find another few good companies in which you can diversify your resources? Or maybe you don't have the time. Fortunately, we have what's called an index fund. An index fund is just a bigger portfolio which contains hundreds or even thousands of companies. They can reflect the economy of an entire country, and in some cases, an entire industry. Let's say that you live in USA and notice that businesses are thriving there, so you would like to make some profits from that growing. But you learn that investing in only one company is pretty risky. What you can do is to buy shares in an index fund called S&P 500, which will give you exposure to the 500 biggest businesses located in the country. In this way, you can own a small percentage of all of them in the same time, and also have the advantage of diversification. Okay, so now you know which companies to invest, but how can you actually do it? Well, surprisingly, the process is pretty easy once you set up your account. So first, you have to find a good broker. A broker is the entity between you and the company that will sell you its shares. All brokers have different advantages and disadvantages, which you have to research for yourself. After you find a good broker, you send them a picture with your passport, national insurance number, your home address, and in most of the cases email or your phone number as well. They will take about a week to verify those informations, and after that you are ready to go. Nowadays we have the advantage of internet, which means that you can buy and sell shares in a matter of seconds using your smartphone from anywhere in the world at any time. I hope that the subject of shares is now clear to everybody, and if you have any questions, don't forget that this channel was created to answer them, so the comments area is always open. In the part 2, I am going to explain what real estate is and how you can start investing even if you don't have money. Until then, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell and destroy the like button. You watch The Money Maker, rock it baby!